it's really useful to, you've got this sort of empty repository, so you want to populate it with information. I already said that it is liberating and helpful, and to say that you don't have to have all the content in there. You need to have enough content that if someone has a reasonable expectation that they're looking for information, they can find it there. But if they can't find it, that they're able to request it and get that added. So to get that reasonable expectation, you need to have what we call this minimum content tipping point. And that's enough content that there's good examples for people who are being asked to curate or build their own content in the system. And enough content that, again, if someone is looking there, there's a reasonable chance they might find what they're looking for. The kind of interesting example of this is Wikipedia. This is a bit dated now because Wikipedia has been around forever. Now we got ChatGPT and all this kind of stuff. But the concept with Wikipedia is that this is a huge user-driven articles and things. And interestingly, this thing shows the number of articles in Wikipedia, and this shows the number of editors in the system. And these are people who, the casual editors, people who just do like 5+ edits, as opposed to the more serious ones. They had to reach a certain point where you got to a number of articles before they really felt like they could participate. So you want to kind of get to that point, but it doesn't have to be, again, everything in the world. So you want to have enough information there to make that work. So we're going to talk about the content creation methods, and we're also later going to talk about other points of engagement. But you can have automated discovery and synchronization. So if you have things that you can do, if part of your prioritization or stuff that doesn't require curation, you want to do that. So you can start with like an inventory of key data systems and maybe importing the data models. That is something you can do really quickly to get a lot of really rich value in the system. It's not super curated, but it's actually super useful to know, like, here's all the tables and columns and everything for different data systems and how to access the data systems. Doesn't take a lot of effort to do that. The biggest barrier you usually run in with this is sometimes getting buy-in from the data system owners to participate or to let you connect. The next way of getting content is sort of manual bulk imports. So if you have like existing business glossary definitions, or there's like data standards content, external data standards, that you can bring all that into a glossary or other things, go ahead. Maybe it's even taking some inventory report stuff and bringing that in. If whatever kind of content that you can get to bulk import would be useful. These two things are really designed to say things that you can get content in that doesn't yet require your subject matter expert or steward creation or curation activity, right? There's discovery from you from an oversight leadership standpoint, but you're not really leaning on your stewards. So the next thing is to say, what do we need to lean on our stewards to do? So let's say that your goal is to do a report catalog and build out a glossary. Well, I would recommend picking something like 20 to 30 key reports or a certain number of content in each area that you're focusing in, and or sort of an ETL or integration processes, and have those get curated. This assumes that 20 to 30 is like some small percentage of your total reports, right? In the creation of this, they'll end up building a bunch of emergent content. So in defining reports, they'll end up creating glossary terms and things like that. Work very closely with them, support them as they do this, but have very reasonable expectations. And I'm not talking about like one person doing 20 to 30. I'm talking about like 2 to 3 reports at most or something for the people originally. Then after that, go to this just-in-time content. But this should get you to that tipping point. You might end up doing some of that authoring and review yourself as the oversight group. But again, you want to have good examples and good reasonable content. So that's your sort of starting point to get there. Again, it depends on what your goals are. You may have goals more around like lineage or more around like quality, and you want to have your focus around quality rule creation instead of report definition. That's okay, but just again, focus on getting sort of a minimum set of that content in there as good examples